the switch between just supplying furniture into a space to then, okay, now we're designing it, now we're implementing the full scheme.
But that's exciting, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want. That's what I wanted to do, because that's what I was doing elsewhere.
What's the weirdest thing anyone's requested for like an interior?
Okay. It's not been implemented, is what I will say. So they wanted a sofa in a breakout room that was Union Jack but sequins. Kind of like, do you know like the Spice? Is it Jerry
Halliwell? Yeah,
it was kind of like, if you imagined her as a sofa, like that's kind of what it was, but with like a cow print rug.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What? Do I dare ask what business this was? Or what type of business? Anyway, let's not name names.
Automotive.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
it's like Austin Powers.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was a tough mood board to kind of put together. I'm not gonna lie, because it was kind of like, no matter how I layer these on this Illustrator file, it still looks terrible. Office design has changed because people understand now that different people need different things to perform, and ultimately most bosses they want their team to perform.
Yeah.
And now,
why would you not?
Yeah, whether they like it or not. Now maybe it's not. I guess the ethos might be different now to the old school beliefs. If they're thinking we want people to perform, want to do this, that, and the other. But if you give the right people flexibility, I've found you will see astronomical results over if you try and make them conform to your thing.
100%.
If you give, as long as they're trustworthy and they're loyal, if you give them what they need, you'll see a massive turn up in results. So I'm Bradley Nolan, and I head a team of interior designers to complete commercial design and build projects, basically, mainly around sort of north links, northeast links, but we do travel a bit further as well.
Yeah, you work in this like Hull and Yorkshire as well, don't you?
Yeah.
So I suppose you're a young guy, got your own business,
right on the cusp of being young, I think. Still
younger than I am, but so I always feel like young people and starting businesses is really interesting. I always admire that because it's a big thing to do. It's a big risk to take, and I feel like you have to make certain sacrifices that maybe the majority of people don't know or see. Not that we're asking them to see that, but I suppose, what is your journey? How did you come to being the owner of this business?
I think I had no choice because I got fired from my first 7 jobs. I either was fired or left my first 7 jobs.
First 7 jobs?
Yeah. And one of them was like, I was 4 hours in to the shift. So it was, I think it kind of was always going to be that way. Like if I look retrospectively back, like I left school at 13 because I always struggled with authority. I don't think in principle, but I think when because I was always like curious, it's that classic when a kid says why 15 times and then they don't get an answer, that's when I will struggle. So at school, I'd kind of maybe be given like a textbook and, a questionnaire and it's like, fill that out. Then in my brain, I'm thinking, why are you here? Because I don't feel like you're teaching me anything.
Right.
And also, what's the background to this? So like, I feel like I'm learning enough to answer this question and tick option B, but no more than that. And I think that happened when I started going to jobs and things. I remember I had an apprenticeship, and the second day I'd shredded all the first day. I was just doing shredding the whole day.
That is boring.
Yeah, it was so dull.
That is really
And the
boring.
second day, I was back to the shredder, and I said,
no.
Straight back to shredder. I said, is this all I'm going to be doing? And I think I'm like 17 at this point as well. Yeah. And they were like, yeah. And I said, oh, I'm gone then. And there was just always something within me. I just thought, I can be doing more than this. Like, why are we not? It's that naivety and / arrogance of youth where I'm like, I've got no experience from saying, why are you not utilising me better in this business?
I'm amazing.
What's happening here? So,
well, it's similar. Like I worked in McDonald's, and I remember sometimes they'd put you on fries for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours.
That's tough, isn't it?
But then the clock's there and you're doing, and it's just like, oh my God, like time's going backwards. Like this is the most boring thing I've ever done.
100%.
Ever. Like it's just like you're not used to that level of mundane task.
Yeah, and I really struggle with that. Like if I'm not stimulated, if my mind's not working, then I just get really down and I don't enjoy it. So I think that looking back, I was probably always meant to be doing something on my own. And then COVID happened. Have you heard of COVID?
No. What? No. Could you explain that?
So COVID happened, and obviously there was a lot of job insecurity around that time. And I was doing what I do now, but for somebody else. And I remember thinking, maybe this is the time to kind of like do something on my own. And I thought, could I do what I do now for myself? And it kind of felt like the best time because everyone was working from home. So logistically, making renovations happen was a lot easier because that's one of the toughest things to manage on a site is, saying here you can have 15 people around here. It's like, how do you renovate that with them working then? And if they don't have provisions to work from home or whatever.
Yeah.
And then also everyone's, in terms of staff, were enjoying working from home. They were quite liking that if they've had a nice setup. So you'd have to give
begin
them
with.
Yeah, to begin with.
Yeah.
So you'd almost have to give them a reason to want to come back into the office a little bit. And all the studies show that managers want people in the office, whether we want to admit it or not, that most management want to keep an eye on what people are doing. So they wanted to get them back in. But if people are comfortable in their spare room, surrounded by their prints and things that motivate them, the boring office wasn't going to work. So we could kind of put those two things together and say, it's now easier than ever to renovate your space, and you're going to want to do that to bring people back into the office.
So what was that moment where you thought, right, fuck it, Nolan Interiors, go?
I remember, to be honest, I was sat on a dining room table with my dad. Not on the table, we were on chairs. We were sat round a dining room table.
You're not just sat on the table.
Yeah. And I thought I should probably sit somewhere else. It's uncomfortable. There's no lumbar
just
support.
Eating, eating your roast dinner off the chair whilst you're on the table.
I thought something's wrong here. No, we were sat round there and we were chatting, and he was just about to retire, and I was just about to do this thing. And it was kind of like, what about if we just did something together for the next few years? Like, could we do it now? We had a couple of glasses of Merlot, and then it was like born. Next day, company's house, it was done. And at that point, it was like, right, yeah, okay, I guess we are doing this now. And then,
so did your dad have a business before, or was he working for someone?
He sold office furniture for 40 years in total, but had a company doing it for 28 years.
Right.
So he obviously had a lot of contacts in the industry. It was selling furniture that's different to what we do. It was more imported stuff for construction sites.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. So he was just coming to the end of that journey. I said, look, can I just leverage your contacts for a few years, please?
And has that actually helped now that you're a few years in?
100%. Like 90% of the turnover we did in the first year was a repeat or referral work from his, the last 30 years in business.
Wow.
So without him, it probably wouldn't have been plausible. So, in that sense, it's nice to be a office furniture nepo baby. And, and it worked for me.
But then that's good. That's not a bad thing.
100%.
That's good. Yeah.
I think you have to, and this is one of the other things that I kind of live by in business as well, is I will always be asking people for help. I'm not too proud now to think that I can do everything by myself, because you can go into that and go, right, I'm going dog mode, I'm not speaking to anyone, I'm doing all this. And ultimately it's harder, less fulfilling, and less enjoyable.
Massively.
Whereas if you create a community and actually ask for help and give help where you can, then that's what's really helped us take off, I guess.
Yeah. I do feel like you've done a good job with that. Because I'm like that as well. I just like to be working with people who, not only the team that we've got, like each one of those kind of team members now, when I first set up, I was doing all the websites and the graphic design and stuff like that. And my brother was doing all the performance stuff. And I was like, God, I'm really good at this. Yeah. And now they're out there, I'm like, God, I was really shit at that.
Yeah.
And I think that's great though, isn't it? Like seeing that kind of growth and leaning on people, and it's more fun. Like, I like working with people. I don't want to sit on my own.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the things that I've realised, from hiring people as well, that I actually really enjoy that, because of all the bad experiences I had at the start, which I'm sure I was, partly to blame for certain things when I was growing up. But I think giving people an opportunity, certainly around Grimsby or we are, where there's not the most creative opportunities out there. There's not loads. There's obviously some companies doing really, really well, but a lot of people will then go to a city. It's quite nice for people that don't want to do that to still give them the opportunity to do something creative in hopefully a nice working environment. So I think that's one of the things that I'm quite passionate about as well.
Cool. So after you set up and then you've got your first year, you managed to kind of leverage your dad's contacts. How what? How has it developed since then, I think?
Yeah, so I think it was probably similar for the first couple of years, because you're kind of figuring things out. And I think we got to a point, so we started where most of the work we were doing was supplying office furniture. And I thought for a while we'd have to be doing that, because the bigger work, we didn't have a lot. Obviously, we had the name, the credibility of the name, but we didn't have loads of case studies and things. So I thought we probably wouldn't get those opportunities. But then quickly, we actually did get fit out work. So it was like the switch between just supplying furniture into a space to then, okay, now we're designing it, now we're implementing the full scheme.
But that's exciting, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want. That's what I wanted to do, because that's what I was doing elsewhere.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
like the thing that I was really passionate about. But we weren't set up necessarily to fulfill that at the best, because it was like 2 people. And, you know, when you're delivering a big scheme, that's hard. So we had to try and like grow organically enough without putting too much strain on the business financially, because it's all self-funded. We haven't done anything like that. And that point,
so difficult,
because you always feel like you're teetering on the edge, and it's quite stressful. But I'd say for the second year, we were kind of doing that, and after that, we managed to make a couple of hires and get the team around us that we needed to properly fulfill that kind of work. And now I'd say it's switched, where most of the work we do is fit out and the furniture, and then you know, a smaller percentage is just furniture.
So now looking into the future, what's the plan, and what do you envisage the challenges?
You know what? This is how I actually feel. I just think if I can just keep doing this and we can keep slowly building a team, I'm just happy. I know that a trendy answer might be like, I want to do this, I want to strive. And I don't want to not grow, but I just think my life's really nice as it is at the moment. I feel quite content with that. Like, I can have a lifestyle that I'm happy with, but I'm not so busy that I don't see friends.
That's great.
I can do these things. And I think, it'd be great to help more people and have more people work with us so the team grows, and that's brilliant. But realistically, if we can just keep going, delivering good work, and have this kind of work-life balance, I'm happy. Like, if that's the rest of my life, I will take that.
Yeah. I think that's actually refreshing to hear.
Yeah. If you'd have
you
asked me,
don't get many people that go, yeah, my life's good.
Yeah.
It's almost like, oh my God, the world is exploding and everything around me is horrible. Like, it's nice, but pretty good.
I think if you'd have asked me at the start, that's when I was more bothered about, like, you know, monetary things. And I was bothered, you know, I'm thinking I want to strive for that, and this is all the things. And then you kind of achieve certain points and realise you don't feel any different. Like, so when you got, let's say you get your first car, you feel amazing, and then maybe you get your first nice car and you feel amazing. When you realise you get the one after that, you feel the exact same, and you almost feel slightly less and less, even if the car's getting nicer, because you get desensitised to it.
Less important.
And you realise it's not fulfilling. And the older you get, I appreciate you saying I'm still quite young, but the older I get, I kind of think, not does any of that matter? Do I want people to be thinking these things? But I'd rather people just say, you know what, he was all right to be around, and he looked after the people he cared about, and that's what I'm more bothered about at this time in my life.
And do you feel like that happens as you getting older, or do you think that's just as, do you think that's correlated towards your business growing, or do you think that's maybe an age thing where you're kind of maturing?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a maturity thing, and I also think that it's easier to say when you maybe don't have as many stresses and you have got to a certain point. I guess that because you kind of feel like, this is a solid foundation to do the other things that I want to do. And now I can think about helping friends out, or I can think about spending more time with my family, which is one of the things that I wanted to do. Because obviously when you work with family and you realise most of the conversations you're having are about, like, I'm speaking to my dad about chairs, my mum about who we're paying. Yeah. It's kind of like, do I want my time with them to be that? It's like, not really.
Me and my brother now, whenever we see each other, like, we just pretty much don't talk about work.
Yeah.
Because we're that involved in it, and it can be stressful. There can be some, in business, you've got to make difficult decisions sometimes, and some of those decisions aren't that nice. So then, or someone won't pay you, and then you're fucked for a bit, and then you're like, right, what are we going to do? And that's stressful, and you don't want to then, like, go around to my brother's house on a Saturday with the kids and stuff and start going, oh my God, what are we going to do? You need a break. You need the mental headspace. Because in my, I've said this quite a few times before, I've overworked, made terrible decisions, and end up having to then overwork again to rectify those terrible decisions. Because you just get so embroiled in what you're doing. How have you found that? Because you're in the earlier stages of business, and I feel like when you're in the earlier stages, you grind. You're having to grind harder because you haven't got that goodwill, almost that legacy, like respect and the brand that you've built over time. I suppose, how have you found getting used to like switching off and switching back on again?
Hard. I would say it's very, very difficult. I've got better at it probably the last 12 months, but before that, I mean, as probably a lot of people who've done it would be able to relate to, like, it's like killed friendships, relationships. It's taken a toll in a lot of ways, because you know, you're not always acting in the healthiest ways, because I think it's all you can see and it's all you can focus on. And you're probably compromising things that you shouldn't just to do that, because you feel like it's of such high importance.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah. And I think
that's your life.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I would be getting to the point where I'd be getting ill constantly. You know, I wouldn't be feeling great. I was like putting on weight. There was loads of things. And then it kind of dawned on me. It's like, no, none of this happens if I don't have health. Like, health is the foundation of it. If that goes, I can't actually deliver what I want to anyway. So that's
physical and mental health as well.
100%.
Yeah, they're both completely.
And I think, I found it, tough. And I think because left to my own devices, I think naturally I will do that. I probably have to have. Now I've got people around me that I'll say, look, if I'm doing that, just stop me. Just like sit me down and say, Brad, you're doing that thing again now. You're probably going a little bit OTT. You know, you need to just rein that back.
And do you find that difficult to listen to?
Oh, don't listen to him, Nick. just tell me. I'll still ignore it. But at least give it a go.
You at 2 a.m.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So it's a little bit better. But yeah, obviously you naturally get a little bit defensive, but I kind of come round after a little while. But you need to surround yourself with people that get it as well and understand who you are, I guess.
Yeah. And sometimes it's fine to have that like motivation and that drive, but it can be a fine line between teetering over the edge, where then it actually starts to negatively affect your well-being.
Yeah.
Like, not only your finances, but also your relationships.
100%.
As well.
And you're making bad decisions in the business because you're so close to it. You're never zooming out and looking at the bigger picture. You're like just making the decision that's right in front of you. And it's very rare that has been the right one for me. So I think having a calmer approach, stood back and actually thinking about what you're doing, is better than just being in it and just going from one thing to the next.
So is there any like specific things that you've actually done, like that you can think of? Like, for example, like turn off your emails at a certain time, and that doesn't necessarily. Like, is there any like changes you've made to your life to improve your work-life balance? So I think that's quite an interesting question for some people, not knowing. Right? How do I go from being ultimately stressed to actually taking a bit of control back and improving my life?
Yeah, I've done a couple of things. I don't know how revolutionary they are, but I've done a couple. So I got a work number for a start.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
So it's just like an eSIM, so it's still in the one phone.
Yeah.
But obviously it comes through and you can know which one it's going to be.
Oh, right.
And I got that, and then you can set like a focus mode up where it blocks any calls or texts past a certain point that are from that number. So that was one thing I did, because, you know, otherwise you might be getting... Well, WhatsApp groups are everywhere. So the WhatsApp group going off at like 10 p.m.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, what's going on? And the thing is, you can think, right, I'm not going to check my emails. But if the notification comes through and you see the start of it and it doesn't look great, that's enough to ruin your weekend anyway.
Honestly,
isn't it?
my weekend was ruined this weekend because I read an email at Friday. I was like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And I've honestly, for years, I've turned my email notifications off, and I know in my brain not to do it, but I just got distracted, and Tony sent me an email, like, because all my invites go through to my work email, a calendar invite. I was like, enter calendar. I was like, what's that? No!
and that's you gone. That's your head gone then for that weekend, isn't it? So you don't get to do that. So I've done that. I've got a focus mode that shuts all that off. And then my other one was just say yes to the social interactions. Like, there were so many times if I'd be tired on a Friday or something, I'd think, oh, no, I'm just going to, I'm gonna do that.
So making more an effort with
I will now just say yes.
Friends, social things or actual work stuff.
No, like, so friend things on the weekend. So because otherwise, if I don't and I think, oh, I'm knackered, I'm just going to stay in, I might have a little bit of a lay-in, but then I'm going to be on my laptop. Then I'm going to be thinking about work, and all these things happen. So you kind of have to consciously go, right now I feel like I probably won't enjoy the social interaction because I'm tired. But the moment you go out there and you're actually surrounded by people, then the energy is boosted and you're not thinking about work. So I'd say they're the kind of two switches that I made, and that's made a massive difference.
And do you take weekends off?
Next question. No.
No comment.
I try. Like Sunday, kind of, that's my like productive day to set myself up for the week. Like, I will do that, but it'll be mixed around with maybe a brunch, a long run, you know, some activity. So it feels nicer. It feels nicer.
Yeah, that's good. Having kids as well, that just adds another whole element of pain. But actually, at the same time, you spend a weekend with the kids and don't do any work. That stress on a Friday, by the time it comes to Monday, because I've like just been busy with like going to kids' parties and stuff like that. I come back to Monday, it's gone.
Yeah.
Like that, because it's been out my mind for like a 2 full days. I come back to it and I'm like, this is just fine.
Yeah,
What was
that's
I
it.
even bothered about?
Yeah, and that I would also say keeping that at the front of your mind helps as well, because I don't think I've ever actually had a situation at work where the amount of stress about and thinking it's going to be this, and probably life in general, it's actually never that bad. It's never been as bad as my brain has thought it is going to be. It's always better or easier or less detrimental than you think.
And I think that, honestly, unless you're ridiculously like your head screwed on and you're ridiculously mature, you just don't get that through anything else but experience. Like the more that you experience stuff that seems to be hard and then actually ends up being fine, the more you just become desensitized to that, and you're actually, well, that'll be fine because we'll just do this, or this is another option, and it just, eventually it just figures itself out. Although it actually doesn't figure itself out if you just lay in bed all day and do nothing about it. But you have to do something about it. But there's always a way out in there.
100%.
Rather than it seem like there's no end. Right, okay. So a few quick questions.
Go. Yeah, let's do it.
I suppose we kind of answered this one. What do you think the hardest part of being a business owner is in comparison to working for yourself? Like, what's been the hardest part? As much as you enjoy it,
the hardest part
of being a business owner.
The hardest part of being a business owner, other than working for someone else, I would say is probably the relentlessness of it. I think it's nonstop. Like everything we've just said in the past 6 minutes, it's like it's still there. Like I think it's like an undercurrent within you. Even when you are switching off, it's still bubbling there. I remember I went to the lakes not long ago with my friend, and we was like, right, we're gonna do like a whole digital nomad thing.
Detox.
Like,
digital detox.
Get off. Like put the phones in those little lockbox things that you can't do it. And I remember after a couple of days when we'd done that, I was just sat down on a chair and I said, is this what my body's meant to feel like? Like I was just having a bacon sandwich that, to be fair, it was underdone. The fat was a little bit, but I didn't want to mention that at the time because he was really proud of it.
You were like,
I was thinking, no. But having this on a chair, and it was kind of like raining a little bit, but everything was still, and my body actually felt still, like it wasn't vibrating. And I thought, is this what my body's meant to feel like?
It's like mindfulness, isn't it? And I think I don't think that's just business owners. I think that's just life now.
Yeah.
There's so much overstimulation. Like we've got a phone which connects us to the entire world.
Yeah.
Like in our pocket.
Yeah.
Like it's just so much information overload.
And I think it's just so easy to go to. Like when I was at the sunbeds the other day.
Nice.
Regularly go. Don't know, should there be a health warning there? I don't know a lot about the science behind it, Nick. I'm not advocating for anyone else to do it.
How do you manage to chill out when you're on the sunbed, or do you just think, right, I need to send this email?
To be honest, I'm stood up.
Are you stood up?
Yeah, I'm stood up. So to be fair, they play a bit of Lizzo, so sometimes they give it a little boogie in there. Do you know what I mean? So I'll give it a little sort of shoulder bop or something, But
you know what? I've never been on a sunbed.
Never?
No.
Wow. You must be more secure in your presentation than I am, I guess. But what I did notice when I was in there, so you might be waiting, let's say, maximum, if someone's just gone in, let's say you're waiting 6 to 9 minutes for them to come out, and there's 7 people waiting, everybody's on the phone. Like, nobody can not be on the phone. And you can even see people, like, put the phone, and then they go, and then it's like 30 seconds later, it's like, right, I've looked around the room a little bit, so I'm back on my phone. So I think it's just so ingrained within you to need something else that when that's not there, it does feel a bit alien, I guess. But I want to try and get more back to that, because I think that's got to be healthier than needing to look for something to interest you all. Like, what's wrong with being bored sometimes? Like, can we try that? Should we give that a go?
I've seen a few people like say stuff like this. So, like we can't be bored, and like boredom isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like even with our, like the kids, like with our kids, you can say it's like they're just always like, "Daddy, will you play with me? Daddy, will you play with me? Can we do this? Can I do this? Can I do this?" Whilst I feel like when I was younger, my parents would just be go, "Well, you've got your PlayStation or the garden."
Take a pic.
Yeah, or go play out in the street.
Yeah,
or go knock on your friend's house. But I feel because there's a lot more awareness of the dangers of doing that. Now everyone's hyper obsessed with that danger. So now, I don't know, I'm going down a whole new pub chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that worries me about when I become a parent because I have no idea. Because I think, I've got this amazing thought in my head, like I'm going to be the parent that doesn't give, a 3-year-old an iPad. But it's like, can you do that now? Can you say I'm not giving my child a phone until they're 16 or they have no friends? You know what
exactly.
I mean?
I don't think there's any hard or fast rule or answer. I feel people have real strong opinions about it. It's just like ultimately every child and every adult's different, so it depends. Like if you've got, I don't know, like a neurodiverse kid who benefits from like the iPad stimulation element of it, then fair enough. And also, people have just got different lives and different. Just let people crack on. In my opinion, do what you got to do as long as you're not doing anything illegal. Like, that's the thing, innit? We just can't chill.
Yeah.
I suppose as a business owner, even more chilling is more difficult because there's always that guilt of like, well, if I was working at this point, I could be earning more money and just doing better. I could just I could be a better person if I was working right now.
Yeah, 100%. And
even though I'm working right now.
Yeah.
I'm doing this podcast. This is waste time. Like,
Yeah, but I have a thing where that's when my mortality dawns on me. That's when I need to switch my whole life up. Like if I think, I'm going to die, and then like, because someone can say it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like you could say it to me like, Brad, you're going to die. Like I wouldn't suggest saying it now because I'll have a breakdown. We don't need that. It's not good viewing.
No,
but it might be good viewing. Who knows? Maybe say it to me. But no,
this is not a therapeutic environment. 100%. I am not a therapist.
Yeah. So when someone says it to me, like he can kind of flippantly go, oh yeah, I guess that's the case. But then when it actually sinks in, that's when I then, if I'm not in control of myself, I'll think, right, I need to change that. That's not good. This is wrong. That's wrong. And I want to change absolutely everything because I'm thinking everything's a waste of time.
So you flip.
Yeah.
You flip from one.
Until I realise that ultimately, it doesn't really matter anyway, does it? No. This is why I've got tattooed on the back of my leg, nothing is real. Just because it's just all chill, isn't it? Like it's everyone's first go. As long as you're kind to people and you're nice to the people that you are nice to you, then that's enough. And like if you just muck about a little bit, that's okay as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's a nice ethos to have. Oh, that's good. What's the weirdest thing anyone's requested for like an interior?
Yeah, okay. It's not been implemented, is what I will say. So they wanted a sofa in a breakout room that was Union Jack but sequins. Kind of like, do you know like the Spice? Is it Jerry
Halliwell? Yeah,
it was kind of like if you imagined her as a sofa.
Yeah,
like that's kind of what it was, but with like a cow print rug.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What? Do I dare ask what business this was? Or what type of business anyway? Let's not name names.
Automotive.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
it's like Austin Powers.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was a little bit. It was a tough mood board to kind of put together. I'm not gonna lie, because it was kind of like no matter how I layer these on this Illustrator file, it still looks terrible.
Very maxi.
Yeah, it was very much like that.
Yeah.
And they said we don't want it. We don't want it to look corporate at all. But we want a desk with a computer on it. It's like that's quite corporate.
Yeah.
And you want that 6 foot away from, that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. Yeah. So that was tough. So I'd say it's that, and I think that this is it. It's like you can offer that, I guess, but for us, I will always say I'll try and give warnings to those kind of things. Because otherwise, I feel like we're losing our integrity if we don't say that. That's maybe not the wisest play.
Do you ever have the opposite as well, where people just come up with the most boring ever? They just want the most boring thing ever.
Yes, but do you know what it is? And I will give them credit, which is not something I always do online, but I will give them credit. It is. I think it's because they don't know what's possible.
Yeah.
Because if they have a bad experience or an experience with a company that maybe, how do you word this? Maybe not that they don't care, but maybe they've got a lot on, so they're just wanting to get something to them. They're giving you like the most obvious thing. They know something they know is going to work. This will work. We've done this everywhere. You can have that. And if they've not sat down and showed other options, I think people don't realise what you can do with an interior now.
Yeah.
Because I think if they've not done a renovation maybe in the last 10 years, because it's changed so much in that time, they probably think, okay, well, this is what office furniture is, which now it isn't. There's so much more to it, and there's so much more freedom you've got in a commercial space.
So how has it changed? Like, say 10 years, how?
So I would definitely say, like, because the way people work's changed, back in the day, you get rows and rows and rows of desks because everybody had to be in the office all the time. So you needed to make sure if you've got 50 staff, there's 50 desks.
Like wood desks.
Yeah, yeah,
Like navy carpet.
yeah.
Magnolia walls.
That's the one.
Yeah.
You've worked there. You've worked there. And so that was kind of what that had to be. But then over time, as more people were hybrid, you might be like, okay, well, there's only ever maybe 30 people in at any one time. So rather than having their desks empty, we've now freed up space for when people are in, we can collaborate. So we're going to have a breakout room, so we're going to make the most of that. So it's kind of, I would say, the layout has dictated that furniture's had to change and become more modular and become agile and have things that can move and stack and be more flexible. I also think because commercial rent has got more and more expensive, people are having to do more with smaller square foot buildings. So that's why things have to be more agile. That's why there's less stud partition walls that are built in there, because they're wanting to maximise space, which is easy to do with a big open plan setting that can be moved around and be agile.
Yeah. I think even when we got this space, I know we're a marketing agency as well, so we're just classic.
Yeah. Beanbags.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Slide.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But it was more about utilising almost exactly what you said. Like, we've got these different areas. How do we actually use them?
Yeah.
And I'd say, well, there's two, pretty much, you include this room. These 3 rooms are just areas where the team can take up the laptop and just sit down in a lower light room or with some music on or something, and have a different working environment. And to me, that would have helped so much as a young person. I used to revise and turn it, like my wife always just can't believe how I can concentrate. But I used to revise my exams with Slayer blasting out in my ear or Metallica or whatever, because that's the way I just couldn't concentrate on writing stuff or revising stuff. But you give me another media or a slightly different room, or I go downstairs or something like that, then I'm refreshed and I can start again. But you put me in one place for 8 hours, I just can't concentrate.
Yeah, 100%. I think, when we were at Nibbles the other day, the brunch yesterday, Holly was literally saying that she will go to different areas at different times of the day.
Yeah.
And having that flexibility means that she performs better.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other way that office design has changed, because people understand now that different people need different things to perform. And ultimately, most bosses, they want their team to perform.
Yeah.
And now...
Why would you not?
Yeah, whether like it or not now, maybe it's not... I guess the ethos might be different now to the old school beliefs. If they're thinking we want people to perform, want to do this, that, and the other. But if you give the right people flexibility, I've found you will see astronomical results over if you try and make them conform to your thing.
100%.
If you give, as long as they're trustworthy and they're loyal, and if you give them what they need, you'll see a massive turn up in results. Yeah,
I agree with that. I didn't realise the impact that moving office into almost a nicer space in every way would have.
Yeah.
I didn't realise. I actually underplayed the impact, because I thought we just need more space, just from a purely practical. Yeah, it'll look nicer. That's great, but we just need more space to accommodate more people. Mm-hmm. But Rachel, we're fortunate enough to have a really creative person who kind of did the interior.
And she did a brilliant job.
She did. Yeah, she did. Job. Yeah, she'll appreciate that. And now every day, when I come into work, I'm like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
Even just having that, just from purely selfish, mindset, I turn up to a place of work which is really nice to work in, but then all the people that work there as well, I enjoy working with. It's that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good going.
It's hard. It's difficult because it's one of those almost intangibles where it's not something I can show on a spreadsheet. It's a feeling. But that's the same with all brilliant design. It's going to evoke a feeling within you.
Yes.
And it's kind of you need to understand or have experienced it before to get it. And that's what sometimes it's difficult to say to clients when they're thinking, oh, well, do we need to do this? Do we? It's just... when you experience that and when you feel it, then it will make a massive difference. And that over the course of a year is a huge difference if you're not having that feeling. Obviously functionality is the key of design because it can look pretty, but if it doesn't work, it's shit. You know. So that is the driver. So that's the first thing we always focus on. But then trying to create a design that's interesting enough or complex enough to make people within it feel something, that's the next step.
Yeah. It's like feeling of comfort and like, I like being here. It seems so simple, but it's not.
No.
It's difficult to create. So off the back of that, what is like the piece of work, like interior work, that you are most proud of? Like, what is it? Like, is there a piece of work that you've done where I'm like, we did such a good job on that, and I'm really proud of it?
Yeah, I would say it's UTC Engineering College in Scunthorpe, and I think that's for multiple reasons, because I think it was the exact size of project that meant we could showcase everything we can do. Like that is realistically flagship in terms of scale. That is
it's a big project, isn't it?
Yeah, it is big. And I think also it's one of the only spaces that I've then been able to, because they like host an open day and everything, and that we attended, and it's like I've seen people then within the space interact with it, and like the kids use it and stuff. And
in a college as well, that is satisfying.
And they was like, they were so brilliant because they were like coming up and meeting us at the door, shaking hands. And I remember thinking at that age, there's no way I'd have the confidence to do that. But it all came from the principal, Anesta, who was saying that we really want to deliver something. And this is, I think, when we do our best work is when someone comes to us with a really clear reason as to why they want to do the project. She said, I want to create an environment that really sets them up for the workplace afterwards so they feel like they're at work. We don't want it to feel like a college. We don't want it to look that way. We want them to be able to come in here, gain skills, gain confidence, and go into the workplace and be competent and within society. And she was not compromising on anything. Like, she was very much like, that is what we want to do. If it doesn't achieve that, we don't want it. And when you've got a brief as clear as that and like a real strong mission, that's when you
Makes
can
your
do.
job easy,
That's when you can do your best work. And I think that like the textures, the tonality that we've used, the flow, it just across the scheme is like really, really strong. So I would definitely say it's that.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Is that on your
yeah, it's on the website. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And there's a video testimonial as well from Anesta who says that I'm fabulous. So check that bit out specifically.
I love a video testimonial.
Yeah, they're great, aren't they?
Right, couple more.
Yep.
So you said you either left or got sacked 7 times.
Yeah. You're going to ask me how I got fired now?
I just want to know, is the funniest one or is that the shredder?
No. Right. So there is one, like, I don't know how great a light it paints me in, but, well, I don't know. Let's see. Let's put it to the room, see how we feel about it.
Yeah.
So it was the one and only
the
time...
room and everyone else that listens to this on the internet.
Oh, God, this is going online, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was my one time working in hospitality. So I don't know how old I was, but I wasn't old enough to serve alcohol. So I must have been under 18.
Under 18, yeah.
And I was in that. I wasn't enjoying my first shift anyway, because I'd be going up to tables and people would be like, well, I couldn't do social interaction at this point anyway. And what I realised was like...
That's so weird. Because now you're so extrovertly... I feel like you're a very social person.
Yeah, maybe I am. Yeah. Maybe it was a good foundation for me, the 4 hours I was working there. Maybe that's what's helped me.
Well, yeah, I feel like every step along the way.
Yeah, 100%. So I was
helpful.
like going around like trying to serve things, and I was a bit like nervous, and the plate's like wobbling, and obviously everyone was ordering soup, so everything's liquid based. It's an absolute nightmare for me. And then I went back, and they've got like really fast dishwashers, I guess, in these environments where you put the stuff in and it like is washed within
like pot washers, like commercial pot washers.
It's done like in 2 minutes or something. And there was a little bit of
fast dishwasher.
Well, that's how I really efficient. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So you just Google fast dishwasher.
I want one of them. And they had one of the glasses had a little bit of water still at the bottom because a really fast dishwasher, but maybe not that great at drying. So, and then one of the other waiters, like, so we're all in like white shirts and black trousers, like just like chucked it over me a little bit. It was like what he thought was like a little joke. But obviously white, then it went like a little bit see through the shirt. And, I was probably like, I'm young, so I've got a bit of puppy fat. So that's how stuck to me. It's like the worst wet t-shirt competition in the world. So obviously
that only you're entering.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not right. And I look, did I then do something I regret? Maybe. Do you know what I mean? Let's leave it to that. And then the general manager came in and was like, oh, did this happen? And I kind of just looked down at my kind of like puppy fat body. And I said, yeah, it did. And he said, well, obviously you're fired then, aren't you? And I said, I guess I am. And then it was like 2 a.m. and I just rung mum up, can you come pick me up? She's like, oh, you finished your shift? I said, in a way. In a way.
Well, yes, technically.
Are you back tomorrow? feels unlikely at this point. So I'd say that there's that, and then the others were more just like, I don't know. I just think to be fair, they were all in different fields, so it was all different industries with like different roles. I was just trying to do things. It was kind of like I thought, I probably don't want to be an accountant.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I realised fairly quickly into that job.
Yeah,
and I think they realised as well you shouldn't be an accountant.
No way. I didn't see you being an accountant. No. Oh wow. So finally, so we've got to know a bit about your business and who you are. So in 10 years' time, so you're 27 now, 37.
Yep.
Where it's the real, like this is such an interview question, but it doesn't mean to be. What do you see? Like, what would you like your life to be?
What would I like my life to be? I would definitely want a family. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Like family is the most important. So I would like a family, a happy one, ideally, and like I say, commercially, I'd like things to be in the same place. But I would like to be proud of myself. I think, because that's never happened. There's loads of times people have been like, "Oh, you should really be really proud of that," but I've never felt it within me. Yeah. So I would quite like to feel proud of myself, and I think that would come from a family, because I think that's deep down. I think that's what I really value. So I think that the other stuff, I feel like, I've done impressive things and that's great, but I don't feel proud of myself because I think that's not where I attribute value in my life. Yeah. So I think once I do that, hopefully then I can be proud of myself and be a husband and father in a way that I would be proud of.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
How
have I gone from that anecdote to this
deep.
answer? Bloody hell. Wow, what a juxtaposition that is. But yeah, I'd say that's where I'm at.
Oh, brilliant. Well, that's a lovely answer, and I'm sure you'll get that.
Thank you. Well, do you know someone?
Probably,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.